So there is one scholarship which I found very interesting. I thought I must cover it. So there are multiple scholarship, as like most of the countries, there are also multiple scholarship. But as what I always say, that don't boast too high on scholarship, because it can, like, you can get scholarship. The average salary in Australian job market is somewhere around 40 lakhs to 75 lakh rupees per annum, per day, per year. Sorry, per year. So this much rupees per year. So obviously, after completing your studies, you would be very easily be able to fund your, entire education loan or any such thing if you plan to. Namaskar, Adab, Shastrikal और Khushamadied. Very good evening to all of you people. This is your master teacher Harsh Priyam, who is going to talk about how to study in Australia and what is like what all goodness you have, entire detail about studying in Australia, because this video had been demanded by one of my student who had requested in the comment box that sir, kindly make a coverage on studying in Australia. So here is the video. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the session. Let me just switch on your chats. So let's get into the session and see that what all benefits you will have while studying in Australia, and is Australia a worth option considering, whether it's an option worth considering or not. So let me get into the details. You will understand very soon. So here we get into the session. First of all, okay, very sorry, my pointer is not working today. So first of all, if you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel, because you'll get a lot of beautiful and useful content here on this channel. Okay, here we get into this. Now, first of all, details about Australia. So Australia is a country somewhere around 8,000 kilometers from India, around 7,800. On an average, a flight takes somewhere around 12 hours to reach Australia, so quite a long distance. And Australia is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of India. So whatever time right now happening here, 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of this time will be happening in Australia right now. And now moving forward, so this country is in Oceania. So basically it's a island country kind of thing. Democratic country it is. Elections are there. Elected government is there. English is the language spoken there. So a common language is also English. So if you know English, you'll be very easily able to survive in the country. And then currency is AUD, that is Australian dollar. One Australian dollar. So let me tell you here that here there are actually the most famous three currencies are there right now in dollars. First is US dollar, second is Canadian dollar, and third is Australian dollar. So here we have got Australian dollar, which is 54.76 Indian rupees. Fine. Now moving forward, so this is the first snippet that I have kept here, that India continues to be the second largest source country for international student enrollments in Australia. So the second largest country is India, from where students are migrating to Australia. So for Australia, the second highest number is coming from India itself. Now, with a total number of 1,22,391 Indian students studying in Australia in January to September 2023 period. So in this time period, when the count was taken, this was this much amount. So more than 1 lakh students are actually going to Australia to complete their studies. Now this is a huge number for any country. Now moving forward, next is 75% of student visa applications applied for in the higher education sector are being processed in 22 days. So they have a very fast and smooth visa application acceptance process. At the same time, they already have a very good economic system, because one Australian dollar is around 54 rupees. You get paid well there. So all those stuffs are there. And at the same time, like I'll tell you, let me show you. This is one more important thing. So here, Australia adds 2 years to post-study work visa student. Now here, the Australian government will be extending the temporary graduate work visa subclass 485 for more than 400 bachelor's and master's program and all PhD programs from July 2023. Now here, this means undergraduates of any on any of these 400 programs will now be able to stay and work in Australia for 4 years rather than 2 years. Masters students studying within the selected discipline will be able to stay for 5 years rather than 3. So what has happened that very recently Australian government has done a change that they have allowed 2 years extra to stay in Australia. So generally what happens that in most of the countries like USA, Canada, even in Germany, so once you finish your study, you need to find a job, and you need to find that job really hard, really fast and quick, because if you don't get a job there, they will deport you back to your own country like India. So say for example you completed your graduation or masters in June 2024. So in June 2024, most of the countries do allow 1 year of time period, that within 1 year you should be able to find your job. But in this 1 year, if you are not able to find your job, you'll have to go back. But here in Australia, earlier also they were allowing 2 years. Now they have added 2 more years. So they are allowing you 4 years to stay there, and within 4 years you can find your job. Obviously, anyone will find a job within 4 years. That's very for sure. So this is one again a big reason why a lot of students do find Australia to be more lucrative. Visa processes are fine, very smooth. Staying period there is quite long, and the work culture, or like the entire thing, the currency is strong, so all such economic stuff is also there. Okay, so these are the good things, but obviously every good comes with something bad also. Now what are the downside of staying in Australia or studying in Australia? Now let me tell you that as well. So now moving forward, PhD graduates in any discipline will be able to stay in Australia for 6 years instead of 4. So for PhD it's 6, for masters it's 5, and for bachelors it's 4. Now moving forward, now from here it starts. First of all, the living expenses. Living expenses, there are two type of expense: rent and groceries and eating, like your daily bills. So living expenses is this much per week. If I have calculated, it comes around 5,000 to 10,000 rupees per week. Now there is total in a year there are 52 weeks. So 52 weeks into 10,000, that is 5.2 lakh. If you do it with 5,000, that will be coming around 2.6 lakhs per annum. Now the groceries and the eating out, this comes to be somewhere around 5,000 to 15,000. I am taking 5,000, so 5,000 would be somewhere around 2.6, and 15,000 would be somewhere around 2.6 like 7.8, something of that sort. Now if you add all of them, like the lowest part and the highest part of renting and groceries, it would come 5 to 12 lakh rupees per annum, somewhere around that. Now I take a like average figure, beach wala figure. I can take it at 7.2 lakhs. Matlab, you can take even 10 lakhs or 9 lakhs also, but I'm taking on a lower side average. So it would be somewhere around 7.2 lakhs. Why I have taken 7.2? That makes 60,000 rupees per month. So 7.2 lakh rupees would be required in 1 year. Okay. Now, moving forward, the next expense is your study expense. So on an average in Australia, the bachelor's degree fees is somewhere around 17,000 US dollar to 50,000 US dollar. If I convert it into rupees, that would be 9.3 lakhs rupees to 27 lakh rupees. Even if I take on a lower side, 12 to 13 lakh rupees. So let me take 13 lakh rupees per year is your tuition fees, your studying cost. So this 13 lakhs gets added with that 7 lakh of your staying expense. That makes a minimum of 20 lakh rupees that you would be requiring every year to stay there and to study there. Fine, this is the requirement: 13 lakh rupees of study expense and 27 lakh rupees of renting and groceries. Now out of this 20 lakh, how much you would be able to make out through your working there? Because everyone works as a part-time in foreign countries, or some if you are getting some scholarship, that's great. But having scholarship is not easy task, and everyone does not get scholarship. So then people look out for the next option, that okay, how much I would be able to work there so that I can fund my own education. Now here 20 lakh is the expense. Now how much you would be able to earn? So in Australia, the rules are pretty different. What different? So in Australia, 24 Australian dollar is per hour minimum wages work. And but the sad part here is that here you can work 20 hours per fortnight. Means for every 15 days, like 2 weeks, you can work maximum 20 hours. Means you can work 10 hours per week. Now this 10 hours per week regulation is something very different and very bad compared to other countries, because in most of the other countries the minimum working hours are 16 hours, somewhere 18 hours, somewhere even 20 hours. But 16 hours is which we generally see in most of the countries, allowing international students to work for that much time as a part-time. Now, if you reduce this to 10 hours per week and the minimum wages are $24, if I count this, or if I calculate this for one entire year, yearly average wage will be somewhere around 6.3 lakh rupees per annum. So even if I think that okay, I would be able, or I'm a genius guy, I would be able to earn a little more or little better. Now I am not getting any idea that how would I be able to make the 6 lakhs to 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs per year, because average is 6 lakh. So even if I calculate, I would be saying that okay, I'd be able to make 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs or 15 lakhs max. Still my entire education cost would not be covered there. And that too when I have taken the education cost on a lower side, not even on a higher side. So here this is a negative part of Australia, that there the living expense and the education expenses are quite high, and the working conditions there does not permit for a good part-time opportunity, so that a student, if he wants or if he wishes to work for longer hours and earn more, probably he would not be provided that opportunity, because the government rules are not supporting that. Obviously you can do a lot of things going out of the way, but that is obviously a threat to the student, and a constant threat. He will be all the time in a pressure that whether if someone finds, what will happen, and it's something of that sort. So this is something very negative part. Now moving forward, what are the scenario of scholarship? So there is one scholarship which I found very interesting. I thought I must cover it. So there are multiple scholarship, as like most of the countries, there are also multiple scholarship. But as what I always say, that don't boast too high on scholarship, because it can, like, you can get scholarship, and there is a probability that you can't even, like, you might not get the scholarship also. So you should not count for scholarship. Don't plan your entire travel and your education based on a scholarship. Once you get that scholarship, then that's fine. But if you don't get that scholarship, then what will you do? You should have your backup options. So here this scholarship is Australia Award Scholarship. Now here what happens? Student pursuing UG PG program, they are valid. Full tuition fees is covered. That's great. Contribution to living expenses is also covered. That's again a great thing. Overseas students health cover is also covered. That's again fantastic thing. Wow, awesome. Now only one condition is there. A critical condition of the scholarship is the requirement for the recipient to return to their home country, mind it, return to their home country for at least 2 years after completing their studies in Australia. So this scholarship would be given to you only if you agree that okay, after completing my education, I would be moving back to my home country minimum for 2 years. After that you can return back, but probably they have put this clause that if you have come here to study, just study and then go back. Don't come back. So this is the condition, that if you take this scholarship, you'll have to return back. So this is the requirement. I don't know whether this is a good requirement or a bad requirement, but this is the requirement of this scholarship. Now, there are multiple other scholarships as well. So you can find out those scholarships on www.studyaustralia.gov.au. So this is a government website, /en/plan-your-studies/scholarships. Okay. Now moving forward. English language requirements are there, because this is an English country completely. Having a minimum cutoff score that candidate must meet to be considered for admission. So in CBSE or ICSE, in your grade 12, you should have minimum 68%. In your state board examination, you should have minimum 78%. Okay. Now moving forward, what's the IELTS TOEFL requirement? So it's 6 to 6.5. The bare minimum, this much is required. Although at 7 and 7.5, you can very easily get into the colleges. Now moving forward, top universities there in Australia. So first is the University of Melbourne. It is having a QS world ranking of 13, and in Australia it's number 1. The next university is the University of Sydney. This is having a world ranking of 18, and in Australia it's second. Third university is University of New South Wales, Sydney, 19th on the world position. Australian National University, 30th on the world position. Monash University, the University of Queensland, the University of Western Australia, the University of Adelaide, and the University of Technology, Sydney. Okay, so these are the universities which are performing very well and which are in the top of the charts in Australia. Fine. Now moving forward. So in Australia, future job opportunities. What's that scenario? So here, South Australia leads the nation with rising job vacancies despite national downturn. So this is the first part. So there the job market is on a stronger side. That's again a good point for Australia. So notable rise in job vacancies that surpasses the national average. This local growth stands at a stark contrast to a national downturn in available jobs. So there are parts in Australia where you have a very good employability structure. Now moving forward, the latest data from the Jobs and Skills Australia reveals that September alone, job vacancies in South Australia increases by 1.7%. This upward trend has been consistent since 2022. So for so many years, the job trend in South Australia has been on a consistent growth. So this is again a good part. Now moving forward, if you here the average salary in Australian job market is somewhere around 40 lakhs to 75 lakh rupees per annum. Per year, so this much rupees per year. So obviously after completing your studies, you would be very easily be able to fund your entire education loan or any such thing if you plan to. Although till the time you don't complete your education and you don't get into a job, till that time it's a little tough and dusky road. Okay, now USA पे video बनाओ sir. Okay Patel, just write down in the comment box. If I'll get a support on that, I'll make a video on that. Okay, I tried helping you as much as I can, but still if there would be some points which I would not have been able to cover, so you can very freely reach out to me or to my team for getting that help or getting that counseling or getting that information for that matter. So how you can do that? There is a link in the description box, given in the description box. You can click on that link, fill all your details. You'll get a call back from my team within 48 hours. Why asking 48 hours? Because this service is absolutely free of cost. Hence, we are getting a high call volume. So you'll be getting a call within 48 hours. You can ask all your doubts. You can clear all your points and on all your information you can get from my team. Thereafter, you can decide. Okay. So we would be happy helping you. You can just drop down your details and my team would be connecting with you to give you all the details. Okay. Fine. So that was all for this session. Hope you loved and enjoyed it. With this, it's time to say a goodbye. See you all in the next session. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.